Dunmire uses the commotion as an opportunity to address the assembled press. Declaring that Dwight has basically stolen what is mine, this bourbon was cooked up by a formula that I created with this girl's papa, he yells that the evening is his. Spencer watches in dismay as Cole takes an axe to a barrel of the 50 at Jeremiah's order. Everyone actually pulls out a gun, sheriffs, Dunmire's crew, and Bevilaqua's men, but not Dwight's posse, as he creates a lot of enemies for a man with very little security. Dunmire informs Dwight that the Attorney General is a good friend who sees it all from my side, and he commands his thugs to leave. Boasting about how he spoiled the launch, and nobody will write about anything else. Dunmire contacted the police to break up a party because he wasn't cool enough to be invited, which is the oldest trick in the book. Joanne claims that their reputation has been damaged as he leaves, and Dwight turns to speak to the dejected workers. Now, if you believe he won, then you believe we lost. That will never occur. Telling them that they will return stronger than before, he sends them all home. Dwight informs Mitch, Goody, and Bigfoot that they cannot get rid of the squished inspector when they stealthily bring him to the barrel room. They'll let Bodie unintentionally find it in the morning and call it in, claiming it was an accident. Cut to Dwight sitting by himself at home in the dark, only to have someone knock on the door. It's Bevilaqua, who is worried about Dwight's disappearances, and Bill chastises him. You're greedy, he says. You want a bigger piece, you don't want to share. Bill asks if he's talking to somebody he shouldn't, to which Dwight angrily asks, placing a gun to his chest. I didn't say those words, you did, Bill calmly responds. You gonna pull the trigger? He asks Dwight. You're seeing what I'm seeing, and I wasn't answering your questions. What would you do if you were in my position? You murder me. I know you would, without a doubt, he says. However, I didn't, and walked away. Later, 2 SUVs full of federal officers brandishing assault guns swarm Bill's car at a stoplight. Who has been pursuing Bill? Is the Montague distillery going to bounce back? And now that Dunmire has interrupted his crucial occasion, how will Dwight respond? Will he ultimately use that specially made bomb to demolish Dunmire's house the way he destroyed the Montagues? We'll discover. After Margaret and Carl Thresher arrive, she sets out to find Dwight, who is still on his way. She leaves despite his apparent concern at the prospect of interacting with the public without her. Does he want to be governor? Making up offenses as he goes, the inspector descends to the barrel room that houses the 50, Goody, and Bigfoot. Mitch instructs Cleo to address the assembled drunken crowd. Bigfoot hides under the barrels as the visiting inspector looks at the bottom of a stack of barrels to investigate an infestation. In another scene, the inspector responds, there's more than enough crap right here to stop the proceedings, and Goody asks him what it will take to ignore him. Bigfoot pushes a barrel that causes many to fall directly on Leary's head after he declares he will be denouncing the effort to bribe a state official. The corrupt official doesn't make it, and it's a gory scene. What, Goody declares. Cleo informs the audience how her father would be moved at the distillery's opening. He fought tooth and nail to keep his craft alive, to maintain his integrity, to defend his work and his legacy until his final breath. Mitch has joined Bigfoot and Goody in examining the deceased inspector, and he intends to explain it away as a straightforward accident supported by a dearth of witnesses, him fumbling alone in the dark. In another scene, Jeremiah Dunmire confronts the Attorney General about the inspector's location in a furious manner. Assuming foul play, Dunmire vows to bring the entirety of his muscle. When Dwight and Tyson eventually show up at the launch, he is pleased. Unaware of the difficulty they've gotten into, he raises a drink to Bigfoot, Mitch, and Goody. At last, Thresher acknowledges Bevilaqua's presence, remarks that it's unprofessional for a potential governor to be spotted with well-known local gangsters, and leaves. The AG, Dunmire, and a whole posse pull in to stop the launch as sirens sound. Bodie and Grace's strategy to generate publicity for the 50 was successful, as several publications showed up for their launch party. Ice can be sculpted by Bigfoot. Updated nomenclature. He is a Yeti, not Bigfoot, due to an ice association, but I'm getting off topic. As the scene shifts to Dwight and Margaret relaxing in bed, he inquires about their relationship with the man with X-ray eyes. Naturally, he's referring to Carl Thresher and she laughs it off. Despite Dwight's reservations, Margaret advises that Thresher go to the distillery opening, which would benefit both males in some way. At the conclusion of episode 4, Vince calls Bill Bevilaqua on Quiet Ray's behalf to inquire about the status of his conversation with Bill. Bill ends the call by saying, Vince, if Quiet Ray has a problem with Dwight, Quiet Ray should call Dwight. Bill detests pressure and only values direct communication. That is the proper course of action, not this pointless discussion. There seems to be honor among criminals, or rather, mobsters, for a brief period of time.